Heat techniques. Some people will actually use lotion, some people use oil, some people use cream, some people use baby powder, but if you're actually using any kind of pressure on the foot, make sure you're not using oil or cream because you're more likely to slip. And my preference is not to use oil on the foot, just because, especially when they're getting their socks and shoes on, they slip a little bit more. So baby powder, lotion, or nothing at all sometimes. So for the feet massage techniques, you can actually compress different areas on the foot, and you can even bend your thumb a little bit. You can see here, otherwise you can kind of bend it the other way. You can actually use the top, so more pressure if you need to in these regions. Some people actually use massage tools for the foot area, so they can actually incorporate a little bit more pressure, so it again all depends. But a big problem that people have is plantar fasciitis, it's called, so more in the heel area, so sometimes the fascia is really tight in that area. Also could be heel spurs, but the problem with that is make sure you're not using extreme pressure in that region just because it's going to be painful for them. So it all depends on what your training level is for that. So some of the techniques that we're going to incorporate, we're going to actually go down the foot and actually extend the toes at the same time then. Okay? So actually extend the toes when you're going down like this then. Okay, next one, I'm actually going to pull the foot like this, and actually my thumb goes in that direction too then. Okay? And you can even just press and hold an area and actually extend the toes. So any area that you need a little bit more pressure on the plantar side of the foot, you can actually get more pressure that way then. And you can also use the knuckles on the bottom of the foot, or you can kind of rotate them back and forth, or just go up and down, even twist for the bottom of the foot too then. Some Tupoltman techniques, that's kind of striking the body, so you can actually side to side like this, so you can actually go back and forth. You can also hit the bottom of the heel, the calcaneus area, so if they want a little bit more pressure, and this is a hard area to get pressure too, so it actually helps loosen up a lot right in the bottom, right there. Okay, so those are main techniques for Tupoltmans. Okay, this is the main technique that a lot of reflexologists will actually use. It's called inching. So just a little bit throughout the body, and you can also go really slow. And it all depends on where you are actually trained for massage to actually learn about these techniques. So if you have virtually no training at all, this is all going to be new to you, but if you have had some training, it might be similar to you, but there's still going to be techniques that you've never seen or used before then. So again, you can perform it really slow if you want. You can even go backwards inching too, okay? So again, whatever feels comfortable for you. So a lot of people actually sit down when they massage the feet. Some people stand up when they massage the feet, so it all depends on what you feel comfortable too. Okay, next one, you can actually just kind of pull the toes. Okay, so just like with the fingers, remember how we slid off of them, or friction them back and forth. Or you can go a circumduction, kind of a circular motion with the toes. You remember in a real massage also at least 3 times for each technique then too, okay? So it's just a little bit, so that they can actually feel those areas too then. Okay, next one we're going to do is actually go in between the toes. Okay, the next one you can actually go all your fingers in between the toes. You can actually stretch it out then too, okay? So you're stretching out the toes then, but just make sure you always do a visual analysis. Just make sure that they don't have any open areas between the toes, because it can actually hurt them when you're actually separating those regions. And so separate it a little bit, just to actually look see if they have any problems. So a big one too is athlete's foot. Make sure you're not massaging athlete's foot, of course. Okay, next one, we're actually going to go to the top of the foot, just like we did on the tendon area on the hand. So remember, in between, so just up and down, or you can just do one little glide. So again, if you don't have a lot of lubrication in this region, you might have to do more compression in these areas then. Well, with reflexology, everything in the foot is related to everything in the body. There's roughly around 7,000 nerve endings in each foot that relates to everything in the body. So, like your big toe, that's actually your brain. Your toes are actually your sinus points. This is actually your spine, this whole line here. So cervical, thoracic, lumbar, coccyx, and also sacrum area. So right in that area. So some stretches you can actually perform too for this area. You can actually go underneath here and actually bring it down. Okay, so you can see here like this. Especially people that are actually in dance classes, ballerinas, you name it. Their foot is actually going to go way down. So that's why some people will actually just compress right here on top of the shin and go down. But if they're too flexible, that's why you can actually raise it up and actually bring it down too to get a little bit more of a stretch then in that area. Okay, next stretch, this is one of the best ones for the calf region. What we're going to actually do is actually cup